by
Yeah.
Twitter. All right, let's talk about. Should we talk about someone we both have and then move on to another difference? So Saka, probably not loads to say really. Just that I think, like we said last week, he's underpriced given that run of fixtures. I kind of feel like he should have been in at 10. So he returned in the same fixture last season to start the season. So that was the Nottingham Forest home game. Just an assist though in a 5-0 win. So and I kind of feel like that. Not fairly common, but it happened a few times. Like when Arsenal won big last season, it wasn't really any one of their attackers that sort of hogged all of the points, if you like. It was quite spread around, and I suppose sometimes when you're looking at a premium, that's what you want. But I think he's if you were thinking about the first choice sort of Arsenal front four, if you like, with Jesus and or even the front three, you kind of think Saka's the first name on the team sheet, and he's less likely to be rotated. So last season when Martinelli was such a difference in price, I think it was easier to include him rather than Saka. But the fact that they're now so even, it just makes sense to go with the minutes.
Yeah, he's been in all my drafts as well. Not going anywhere. Like you said, underpriced. Around the sort of price, he probably should have been 9.95.
Yeah.
Rashford probably should have been 9.5 too. Those probably should have been around the same area. So yeah, the fixtures are good. No reason for not having 3 Arsenal, I feel like, at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about my other Arsenal player. So we could just talk about this in isolation for the difference, because at the moment, it looks like we both want 3 Arsenal. We've both got Gabriel, and then we've got 2 attackers. You've got Jesus, I've got Martinelli. Yeah, it's difficult because I kind of feel like 8 million is a fair price for Martinelli, but he's probably more likely to be rotated than Jesus more often. We saw with Trossard coming at the end of last season, he was taking sort of minutes off him and playing maybe every 1 in 4 games he would maybe start over, that it felt like. So I haven't got the numbers on that, but he, based on sort of overall season numbers, he had 16 big chances last season, more than any other Arsenal attacker, obviously in fewer minutes, and had the highest non-penalty XGI. I just feel like of the attacking options last season, he showed he was the most explosive, and they've got 4 good fixtures to start the season. They're going to want to come out of the sort of the blocks as strongly as they did last season to have any chance of doing better than they did last season. And I think Martinelli's first choice. So why wouldn't he start? And also, do you think he's got I kind of feel like he's got a higher ceiling than Jesus, simply because of those extra points for the goals and the clean sheets. And I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't many times apart from that game at the start of the season where Jesus really hauled, whereas Martinelli had more games where he went big.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close, aren't they, between them? I think he's being overlooked again, to be honest. Like 14% owned at the moment, compared to like 40 for Saka and 20 for Odegaard, and I think what's Jesus on, if I look quickly?
I would guess more.
So Martinelli, like you said, probably is slightly more explosive, but maybe did he overperform his season? Maybe. Because he seemed to be getting on the end of everything, and just being in the box when you maybe wouldn't expect him to be there. So, but is Jesus going to keep underperforming and getting all those big chances and missing? Yeah, probably, because it's Jesus. But but you have the potential there, and I think picking Jesus over him, or maybe not over him, maybe you just go 3 Arsenal attackers, and you have Jesus as well. Picking Jesus is just a good way to have an 8 million price point striker, and then you can kind of downgrade to anyone who sort of starts to perform other than the premiums. So I think Jesus at the 8 million spot, which obviously you have Watkins, is probably something we should all go for out of the 2 of them.
Definitely. Sort of last season, remember we had I know we didn't do the stream, but we had the same conundrum with the midfield 8 million slots. There was like Maddison, Kulusevski, Foden. They were all at 8 million. And everyone was like, oh, maybe even Saka as well. And it was almost like you had to have one of those to pivot around. And in the end, it was obviously Saka was the best.
Mount as well was 8.
But it wasn't like any one of them was the best. But by having that 8 million slot secured, it did mean it was a bit easier to move around. And I understand Jesus' appeal both for the fixtures and the slot point of view, really. I think
I like Martinelli though. I have had a draft after this one, and it did have triple attack. So Martinelli was there. So yeah, I definitely like him. I think he's being overlooked, and he could be a good differential for the start of the season at least, possibly until wildcard, because he's probably going to start them all, isn't he? So yeah. Maybe Trossard plays the Champions League sort of games, and that's the rotation when Martinelli gets it, and he's nailed on for the Prem. So yeah,
I think like previous seasons, we'll probably fall into the trap here again that we play. It's just idea is that we attack the fixtures for the first opening game weeks and prepare for the fact that we could play an early wildcard to get out of it. And yeah, maybe triple attack with Arsenal is the way to go. If they show good signs in pre-season, they've got such good opening 3 fixtures, and you kind of expect them to win the game against Man United at home as well. I feel like there's nothing to dislike about
it. Charity Shield to see how they line up too. Excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to come around soon. I can't believe it's I think the season